Yeah. So let's get started, William. Yeah, man. So let's talk about how you got into gaming, bro. First and foremost.
How I got into gaming, man. I escaped into gaming through my teen years, I guess. And I spent a bit of my life escaping into gaming. And if it wasn't gaming, it was martial arts. So I've always wanted to make games. I love games. Before this, I ran MMA events for 12 years. So I was sort of deep into the combat sports world. Um,
That's dope.
Yeah, that was cool. Good experience. Across different brands, built the federation in Australia, or helped build the federation as a director, and took the first few Aussie teams to the World Championships for IMAF, which is partnered with UFC. So that was really cool experience, and sort of over those 12 years, I got to watch and help the sport grow pretty rapidly over here. Um, but COVID came and shut down that whole industry, and in Melbourne, it shut it down hard. I know we were the number one city in the world for lockdown. So we were locked inside our houses for like 300 days over the first 2 years or something. And even when we weren't, gyms were shut down, right? Like martial arts gyms were shut for an unreasonably long period. Even when other things like cafes, restaurants, hairdressers would open, they'd keep gyms shut. It was bonkers. The place people go to stay fit and healthy and resistant to disease, and they kept it shut down. So, strange period. I had to pivot. I kind of decided to pivot anyway, but yeah, I pivoted into a few other things initially, and then started getting back into crypto. So I fiddled with crypto in 2017. I was looking at it in 2013 and made the fatal mistake of not pulling any triggers. Um, and then start of last year, I was like, you know what? It's been a couple of years of COVID crap. I'm just going to go full time into crypto. I should have probably done this already. And I just started sort of trading and hunting shit coins and playing games for half the time. And then I started talking to teams, and I thought I might figure out a way I could sort of earn in the space, maybe provide services to other projects. Wasn't sure where I could fit or what my skill set or experience could bring, so just kept all of that going for a bit. And then I realized, like, I was looking at other projects and what they were doing, and I realized I could probably do something a bit better than a lot of what I was investing in. Um, I realized it was a good opportunity. I really loved play to earn gaming, like that whole new paradigm, the opportunity that's coming with that, the significance beyond crypto and NFTs, even, like it's the new sort of social order is we're being swept even further into a digital world. I think a lot of people are going to have to work online, through gaming, through we're having to invent jobs for people, right? Like the rate at which people are losing their jobs, are going to be losing their jobs through automation and AI, is higher than the rate at which we're probably going to be able to invent them without things like the metaverse and play to earn gaming and, earn for engagement and all this other sort of stuff. So being a part of that is obviously incredibly exciting to me. And I started thinking about what I would want to do. And one of the things I wanted to do was bring my combat sports network into the space. Um, I know a lot of combat sports and martial arts and fight fans. They're not as a network. They're not really entrenched in crypto. Most of the people I know, which is 90% of my friends, are coaches, fighters, federation people, people in the industry. They're not really crypto people. So I thought I could probably onboard them with whatever I did, and bring them in because I knew they would support me if I had a good project and was doing something good. So yeah, I guess it just sort of all came together. I was like, we're going to make a game studio. We're going to do the play to earn thing. We're going to make a fight game, and then we're going to get the fight world to support it. I think that all sort of aligns really well. And obviously, this space is the easiest space to do something like that, right? Even without play to earn and NFTs being there, if it was just without all that and this space behaved the way it does, it'd be better to do that here than outside of it. But the fact is, you can't separate the tech. Like doing gaming with player owned assets is an incredible opportunity. Like that's the only way I'd want to do gaming. So yeah, it all came together about 10 months ago. The idea became a thing. I started talking to people, and every single person I spoke to was incredibly supportive. One of the first is in here. His name's Anton. He was just like, this was way at the very start. I went and had a chat to him. He's like, yeah, man, I'm on board. I'm going to empower your success. I will empower you to do this. I'm like, man, being told I'm going to empower you is probably the best thing you can hear at the start of something from another person, right? It's not just, yeah, that sounds good, or yeah, I'll have some of that. It's like, I will empower you. That was powerful stuff. And the whole journey just kind of carried on that vibration ever since, right? Like it went, you know, I would approach people because we do social good as well. So one of the first things was setting up Fight Fund, and I wanted to get traction on that from day one, just to cement it as part of our genes. So you know, using some of our funding to help disadvantaged people through the martial arts network. So we held a kickboxing tournament for 150 kids in refugee camps in North Lebanon. You know, we supporting anti-child sex trafficking in the Philippines, all through martial arts people. You know, we through a guy who's on the Palestinian MMA Federation and the Olympic Committee, so that gentleman was able to help us not waste a single dollar in helping those kids get together and do what they were doing. Same in the Philippines. It's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. She's the highest ranked in the country, and she runs this charity. So we don't waste a dollar on anything we do. It goes straight to super powerful causes. And you know, I was talking to my network about that. I'm like, guys, I want support on the charitable side. I want some ideas of what we can do. And everyone I talked to was like, can I invest? So I let people start investing and built up the team. And now we have 30 people. We're still pre-IDO, where we still haven't done our major first NFT drop. And we've got a team of 30, 11 full-time in the studio. And, you know, we're building something massive. Yeah, long answer for you. Sorry.
No, no, you're good, man. I love the passion. I'm excited for you and your project, man. It seems like you got a lot of good people surrounded with you, and that's the best thing to have in this space, man. People who believe in you and are gonna push you to continue to grow and you know, maximize your vision. So yeah, man. Thanks for sharing that.
For sure. Thanks.
Can you tell us about a little about your team and their background, like some of the closer or the devs or anything, or like some core team members?
Yeah, sure. So the Anton I just mentioned, he's got a long history of running tech and remote businesses. So experienced at running big teams, high level management, like very, very good in power of people, very organized, very accountable. And so you know, he's been there since day one, helping in whatever area was required. And now he's sort of full-time GM for the team and really brings this big team together and connects all the moving pieces. So that's amazing. Megan, she's been advising on marketing since day one. She came across from Universal Music and other blue chip companies, so Cartoon Network and Burger King, and so she's been sort of blue chip marketer for 20 years, which gives us advice that a lot of that we don't need yet, right? We're a startup rapidly growing to a big company, and she's such high end. It's she's like our long term, long term vision, strategy, very high level help, which is incredible. On the dev team with our main Unity dev, Dalen, he's basically a savant, right? He was building his own game and doing his own things. He's an indie game dev, and just brought him in very early. Spoke to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing that." And he's been like the game dev version of Anton since day one as well. We brought in Jason Kwak for our stage design. He did stages for Street Fighter V, which really gives us this cool vibe. Like you feel Street Fighter through his art.
I love the artwork and the characters look super amazing.
Oh, it's so crazy. That's Josephine, the lead character artist. She's also incredible. It's amazing how her art sort of vibes with Jason's as well. We've been very fortunate to, you know, ideally when you're pulling something this big and sort of that level together, you have an art director and other director roles that are not the people making the product, right? So you have an art director on top of a lead character artist and several other artists. And we're still shopping for an art director to fit this team. So we've had really great people in those lead roles able to work without, I guess, the support of an art director, right? So it's been really cool how this team's been able to make something that comes together by being those individual pieces. Our animation director, who does our animations, he came across. I can't reveal his name, so we call him Show. That's his pseudonym. He came up with that. Um, I mean, people can talk to him. All our partners can talk to him and all that sort of jazz. But we'll reveal him as soon as his current contract ends. Just a contractual thing. Currently works. I probably shouldn't say where he works either. But he was a lead animator on Tekken 5. He worked on Tekken 4, SoulCalibur, a whole bunch of recent AAA games,
So,
and one that he's under contract for. So um, we're going to reveal him, I guess, as soon as we contractually can. But he's
hey,
been sorry.
did you say SoulCalibur?
Yeah. He worked on SoulCalibur, Tekken 4 and 5, and mate, like a Harry Potter in there. He's done a bunch of top end stuff, but the most important for us was the fight stuff, and for him, he's been so incredible with us. He's gifted, right? So this dude, he does high level animations, but he does a 10-hour job. So a job that would take your average animator 10 hours, which is reasonable time, so not slow. He can do it in about 5 hours, just on 5 hours. And it's at the highest level possible, basically. Like, this guy is top of the top. He's heavily connected in the game world, and also brought us one of his friends who's the creator of one of the biggest fight games of all time. It's another name. His contract is actually out with him. So when his contract comes back, we might do another Spaces with you guys next week, just to announce it to your community directly. But
No,
we've got a contract coming back. Like, this is as good as done. It's requested by him. From I won't name his name until we get the contract again. But creator of one of the biggest fight games of all time. And just, you know, it's incredible to have the opportunity to work with someone like this. And um, yeah, I don't think there's an equivalent to that gentleman in this space yet. That's like, I don't think there's no one that's done what he's done who's come into crypto yet. So even that's something I'm like so proud and honored to have, right? Because, you know, AAA gaming and these people who built the industry over there, they're copping a lot of flack every time they look at an NFT. And the people we already have just recently come on board is like, holy shit! Like, these guys, when it gets out, they're going to cop a lot of flack. You know, we're going to support them PR wise, because the 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 brainless masses that have been propagandized by various game development outlets and media, and, you know, big studios, um, they still hate us, and so they're going to kick up a fuss. But, you know, we'll try and keep it within the crypto space. Mostly, we won't be doing much PR outside of crypto until December, around our team or what we're doing. So hopefully, it can be like well known in crypto and doesn't really creep out too much. But that's unlikely given the people that are involved. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're working with the most incredible team who built the most incredible games. Between these guys, like, there's 40 games that I've played since I was a kid that they were lead role, like senior roles in. So yeah, who better to build the fight game of crypto, right?
no, definitely, man, definitely. Just names like Tekken and SoulCalibur are catching my eye. But even if you didn't mention these guys or your team, I'm looking at the game, looking at the graphics, and if I was and if I'm not, like, now I'm even more bullish on the game. Considering about all this, so exciting things for you and your team.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I can't wait to announce it. It's just going to blow up. If things are going to blow up hard, they really are. We, we've had like a tier one be like, look, when that person signs, we'll support you. Even so, I'm like, okay, cool. It's really cool. A lot of doors are going to open for this project, community wise, partner wise, sponsor wise. Um, yeah.
Yeah, bro, I'm excited for you, honestly. Just knowing the type of gamer and like the culture you come from, and to be working with, you know what I mean, legends. Um, that's just, that's what it's all about. So I feel you. I'm happy for you. I'm lit for you. I'm gonna be watching the whole process and hopefully get in there too.
Man, thank you. I can't wait to play you. Oh,
Yep.
I can't wait to play all my friends, my crypto friends here.
I was gonna stick. I was gonna ask you about esports, but we'll just wait till later to talk about that in a little bit. I don't want to get straight to that question
Yeah,
because
sure.
game is definitely esports compatible for sure. It's gonna bridge a lot of. It's gonna onboard a lot of console fighter gamers onto blockchain games, which I think is exciting.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like that's the main thing here, right? Is we're building a fun esports game first. We're not building from, a play to earn model or a DeFi model and then gamifying that, which is how this sort of emerged, obviously, right? That's how you would expect this whole industry to emerge. It came from within the crypto space. It's going to be crypto mechanics becoming gamified. So we're kind of backwards, right? We're like, all right, we'll make the best fight game on the planet and we'll innovate the fight game. And it's going to be crypto by default. Crypto's a given. We knew crypto was a given. And then it was almost like, stop thinking about the crypto. Stop thinking about the NFTs. We know we're using NFTs. Doesn't matter. What game are we building? And then we focused on the game we're building. And then as you bring the crypto back into focus, you realize there's innovations that work really well with crypto and innovations that work really well with NFTs and player owned assets and the mentality behind player owned assets, right? Like, because players view the assets differently if they're NFTs, if you own them. There's more of a collector vibe. There's more of a social vibe. There's more of like the secondary market vibe, right? Like, just the perception of owning your asset gives you a different feeling towards the game. And so, for our game, it's like one thing might be the fact our fighters level up, right? So, like, it's a weird, subtle thing. But if you own an NFT, leveling up that NFT to sell for a higher value is sort of intrinsic in that. It's sort of intuitive. You know that's a thing you're probably going to be doing. Another thing is, oh, I accidentally turned it up louder. Sorry, buddy. One sec. Very cool. My son just came to tell me
just
I
while Will's
accidentally turned it.
dealing with the TV, I'm Anton. I just love to just backtrack on the team. They are like each and every team member is what's amazing for me as well. Like Will mentioned the rock stars who are like the Michael Jordans, I guess, of our team, and the Kobe's, etc. But what you've got in our team is like this massive group of role players who are like living, eating, breathing this company and this project. They're spending like they're available 24/7. I don't know when they sleep. I don't know what they do, but it's like all they think about is this project, and they're constantly coming up with these really creative ideas for us to be the best. And I want to acknowledge them all in this space.
Dope. Thanks for joining us, man. And yeah,
No
man.
stress, man. No stress.
Yeah, y'all building something organic and pure. You know what I mean? So yeah, your core team, y'all all have the same vision, which is incredible. It's gonna help
Yeah.
manifest the way you're dreaming to see it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see, man. And I've seen a lot of teams, but every once in a while, this magical team comes along, and that's what it feels like to be part of this.
Yes, sir. Y'all got a nice dream team, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So with minting, is it currently live? Did you guys do a stealth launch or just wanted to make the entities available to everyone who's interested and build organically?
Yeah. So with the NFTs and the drops, we've got the bloody faces, which we stealth dropped a while ago and kind of refused to market. We thought we'd just allow them to sell out as, as our community built. We weren't building our community rapidly like a lot of NFT projects are. We didn't have that core community builder on our team to do that. And we weren't really focused on it. We were focused more on what we were building and shaping our project to be suitable for tier 1 VCs, launch pads, exchanges, to get our dev team built up and our game shaped to a point we wanted to show the test build and continue building that. And so it really wasn't our focus. But we thought if we could have our inner circle available to people throughout that, then it would be super organic because the people that are coming are the people that are first wandering into our project, staying for a bit, liking it, and they're super early. So they should join the club. And that's been really cool. I think we got like 300, 400 gone from that. It's just gone nice and slowly in the background. I think it'll ramp up very quickly as our hype cycle begins and we do our next big drop. But that's that's our inner circle. So that's the bloody faces. They get they get whitelisted to the trainer drop, which is our first major, I guess, revenue raise, and it's our major character in the game. The trainers are key to leveling up your fighters and replenishing your fighters for earn capacity. So they're key for the play to earn model. They do give you some buffs outside of that. So we're doing a 10k PFP drop for them. So we can really capture. We want to focus a bit on the Ethereum NFT crowd, right? Like that community. Our community is something we want to bring to our game. We want to make this the most popular game amongst ETH NFT Twitter, if that makes sense. Even though we're building on Polygon, sort of an ETH Polygon thing. And I don't want to confuse you. So we're doing a stealth drop right now. It's small. It's our inner circle. They get a clubhouse, which is exclusive to them. Inside the clubhouse is a stage that they can play. A playable stage. It looks really cool. The artwork for this is incredible. Jason built a 3D space for the clubhouse for our site and inside the game for these bloody faces. So like the Bored Ape toilet, but a massive 3D experience. It's like an old school mahogany and red drapes kind of clubhouse with, heads on the wall and weapons and a bar and a big stage in the middle for fighting on, and a black market where you can buy exclusive NFTs that will not be available outside of the bloody faces, but will work in the game. So who knows what that'll be worth when there's 3,000 bloody faces and 300,000 players. And then there's a little arcade room as well where we're going to pop up some arcade games for, games inside games to go full Inception with it. It's kind of cool and creepy.
Wanted to get a bloody face right now, and that would be one of the fighters, right? What would they have to do?
So no, a bloody face is kind of like it's kind of like your pass into the inner circle. So you go to bloodyfaces.io if you wanted to check one out. They're only 42 Matic. They're not a big one. They're on bloodyfaces.io. And if you check out the scroll, there's a scroll. You kind of go in the door off this dark little dingy alley. It's kind of gamified. And then you'll see a scroll to your right, and you can read up on what this club does and the significance of them in our universe. And then you can, on the left, there's a chained demon to the wall. Kind of click him and you'll mint your pass. And then you'll bash the demon and it will give you your bloody face pass. And you'll be able to enter the club. That 3D experience is still being updated online, I believe. I don't think it clicks through to that yet. It clicks through to our old 2D experience. But then you can go to our Fight Legends website and click demo. And if you own a Bloody Faces NFT, you'll be able to download the build of our game and play the game. Also in Discord, there's obviously a Bloody Faces only chat where we'll be discussing key parts of, pre-alpha for this is our inner circle. So we really want to encourage Bloody Faces to take on that role, right? At the moment, they're the only ones playing our game. So it's feedback on our test build, helping us shape the game with their feedback. From there on, there'll be tournaments and a lot of stuff where we want to cross that, the reality of being in an inner circle and the in-game universe and the place they play in the lore there. So it'll be a very real experience for people that are part of that club. They don't have to participate. They can just own one and play the game, or own one and sit on it till the floor rockets.
If I can just add in there, Will, everybody is welcome in our inner circle except for Mac users at the moment. Okay, so if you're a Mac user, you can buy a bloody face, but you can't play the demo yet, and that's just really we don't like Mac users. No, we do. I have a Mac, but
we might have to bump up the timeline on that.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that everyone has a Mac in this space.
The marketing's not true.
Yeah, Mac is not it when it comes to PC gaming. I mean, Mac is really dope and stuff like that. But if you want to game, I like Windows for that, for gaming. But yeah, will y'all plan on integrating iOS users, Mac users?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. PC, Mac, mobile, and console. This is going on every surface we can get it on.
Love it, man. And I love like you're considering mobile too, or going towards mobile too. Like people can be on the go, getting some
Brother,
CP in.
so important, so important. And like on that, our new advisor, his last game, so obviously he's renowned for 30 years. His last game did $7.8 billion in revenue and was a mobile game. So like he knows that space better than almost anyone on this planet, right? So I think that was 2018 that it did that. Really, really cool game. So us being on mobile, us really taking that free to play model and making traditional revenue streams into this game is a core part of what we're doing. So mobile is super important to us, and the way we're designing the combat mechanics, which Disley could talk about. I don't know if Disley's in here. He's not in here. We're designing the combat mechanics in a way that is more friendly to keyboard and mobile than traditional fight games. But it is possibly the way of the future for fight games. So there's a project called Project L being made at the moment. Don't think it's out for another 18 to 24 months, but it's built by the guys who did League of Legends. And obviously most of their player base uses a keyboard and mouse setup. So it was important to them to build a game that was just as exciting and playable in eSports spaces, but on as a fight game, but on a keyboard. So we're basically gleaning a lot from what they innovated because we have the same sort of desire, right? Most play to earn players are using a keyboard and mouse. Most people that are under 500 US dollars a month, the 1.9 billion of them around the world, they're on a keyboard and a low end machine. So for us, it's important to keep that in mind as we develop. So we're definitely doing that.
That's dope. That's dope. You're looking out for those who don't have the resources to play these crazy AAA games on and don't have the hardware. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the benefits of building with Unity over Unreal. One is that the range of computers that can play the game is greater on Unity than Unreal. Yeah, Unreal does require higher benchmarks at the bottom end, but at the top end, graphically, it's very much similar, depending on your art style. For our art style, it's almost the same. So we're not going to notice any graphical issues. We're not going to notice any lower quality, but we'll be able to be played on more machines, and building on Unity is better for mobile as well. So yeah, that's pretty important stuff. And building on Unity as well, one other thing, it helps us rapidly iterate. And we're doing an open development sort of thing here, right? So we're already in test build. Every week we update our build. We're building with the community in mind, with the community playing with us, with them giving feedback, which allows us the opportunity to iterate more. And iterating or making quick changes or publishing and changing, etc., is a lot easier on Unity than it is on Unreal. It's a different way of setting up. Unreal is better suited to a AAA studio with a massive team who can customize the engine, and they have a completely different production schedule. So a lot of games who are building on Unreal, they're building unrealistic timelines mostly, because they're small indie crypto studios building a hopefully biggish game. It's just not how it works. It's going to take a very, very long time to build out a proper scaled game on Unreal without proper engine custom. All that sort of stuff just doesn't make sense to us. We'll build a far better game, far quicker, for far more people by building on Unity.
Yeah, I like how you guys are curating everything for your project and community. What are some of the unique features in holding a legend NFT?
The unique features of holding an NFT. Give me 1 second.
I would play some elevator music right now, but I know he'll be back in a second before I start it.
I was
Yeah,
literally thinking something
he's a
similar.
multitasker. He's looking after his 4-year-old at the same time. So
No worries,
yeah,
man.
No, we
he's
know,
good.
He's okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Sean, if you want to add anything in around this.
Sorry about
We're
that.
waiting for Will.
Hello?
Oh, you're back, Will. Sorry. Cool. Awesome.
I'm back. I'm so sorry. My little boy came in holding like a big plastic snake and a gun and was like, "Can you take a photo of me?" And I'm like, "Okay." You take no for an answer. So, okay, the unique things with the NFT. So, do you want me to just talk about the different NFTs in the game and what they do?
Yeah, man. Let's
Is
talk
that it?
about the fighters, the trainers, and the gym, right?
Yeah. So this is how our game has more depth than I guess traditional fighters. Some of the ways that they do. We have fighter NFTs, we have trainers, we have gyms. The fighters are what fights, right? So that's Street Fighter, that's Tekken. You collect fighters, you buy your fighters, or you find them grinding single player mode, and you collect your arsenal of fighters. You fight with them. They gain tokenized experience. You then take them once they've earned enough, right? So you can fight with them all day. You can play the game all day, but you will run out of earnable capacity for tokenized experience and tokenized rewards, obviously. So it's like you play for an hour with one fighter, maybe, and he's depleted his earning capacity. You can keep playing with him, but then you're not earning. So you can then take him to your gym, put him in your gym, and over time, so you can be away from keyboard or playing with other fighters, over time while he's stored in your gym, he will spend his tokenized experience and some reward to level up. And when he's leveled up, he's got slightly better stats and slightly more earn capacity, and he's replenished. And then out you go and use him again, and so on and so forth. So there's this cycle of fight with him until he's earned all his experience, take him back to the gym, put him in, he'll level up, take him out, fight with him again. Creates a really strong player loop. We have trainers. Trainers are essential to you training your fighter. Everyone who starts the game will have an average Joe trainer. That's just an average Joe. It's a baseline. So he'll allow you to train one fighter at a time, and it will take the base amount of time it takes, the base rate of time. The 10K trainer PFP drop, these are 10,000 unique trainers. So that average Joe, everyone gets him when they start the game. He'll become synonymous with the game. He'll be some crazy looking dude with scruffy hair who has a shed gym or something, base level stuff. And then you can go buy a 10K PFP trainer drop trainer. Obviously, will all look visually unique. They have bonuses to the rate at which your fighter will level up in the gym. They also have a buff to your fighter in a fight if you have them selected or on your loadout. So if they're coming with you out into the world or into PvP and they're essentially in your corner, they'll give you a teeny tiny buff. Not hugely significant, but in fight games, slight can become significant. So we want to keep it balanced, and we'll be testing that with the community for the first bunch of months, testing those ratios and buffs. But the trainer PFT drop will give you a buff fighting and a buff to your training speed. Then you have your gym. So again, whenever anyone that plays will just start with a gym, but you can upgrade your gym. So if you have an NFT gym, you can upgrade that gym with extra slots for extra trainers who will then be able to train more fighters simultaneously. So it's basically just scaling your experience as you grow. And for gyms to upgrade, it's a matter of you bring a fighter into the gym to spend their tokenized experience in leveling up. The gym gets that tokenized experience, your gym. And as it builds up its coffers, it reaches new levels and you can expand it. So it's a progression plan that brings a gym and training to the fighter mechanic.
Yeah, I like it. It's almost like a fighter universe, metaverse. Like you have your gym trainer, you have multiple fighters, and you can train them and evolve them, their stats. So with that being
Exactly.
uh when you get ready to sell your NFT, will the stats still stay attached, and the purchaser can obtain everything you've accumulated with that particular?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Very persistent. Not only that, but if you have a fighter that you've leveled up, right, to level 100, and you've won some big tournaments with him, you've grinded out, the single player entire mode multiple times, whatever achievements you've won, those achievements will be attached to that NFT forever. So what that will be in our future, when pro esports players are playing the NFT esports mode, which we're going to champion out there, I'll get to that later if you want, but those guys, if they win a big world stage tournament for Fight Legends, they get their trophy, and the fighter that they win with, that fighter will have that trophy attached to it, or the belt or the medal, right? The significance of that tournament win will be attached to it. So if that pro esports player ever puts that fighter on the market, it's got this obscure significance that came from its actual participation in actual tournaments. It breathes more life into the fighter, right? Like everyone's Ryu is Ryu. If I go into the biggest Street Fighter tournament right now and win, the Ryu I used can't be sold as the Ryu that was used in that tournament. It's got no individual significance. But in ours, it does. Everything an NFT fighter does is recorded, and it becomes part of their life. So it breathes a lot of reality and life and dimension into each of the fighter assets that we have. Should increase value once again.
Yeah, man, it's some amazing things y'all are building over there. And that's the amazing thing about blockchain tech and NFTs. That sense of ownership. Not playing a regular console game and grinding for a year without nothing to show for it after you get finished with it. You can't go and sell the Ryu with attributes or anything from Street Fighter, but you can with Fight Legends.
Absolutely.
Hell
Player-owned
yeah.
assets are definitely the future.
Yeah, and we also have a sacrifice and summoning NFT mechanism too. Will, if you want to go ahead and talk to them about that a little bit.
Yeah, so when I looked at this and thought, okay, so one of the challenges that comes with bringing a high-level fight game to integrating play to earn and NFTs is just the layout of the game, right? If you're building an RPG, an MMO, collectible items, they're big in those games, right? In fight games, not so much. So where's the collectability factor, right? How do you...
He must be chasing after his son, guys. Just bear with us.
Oh, sorry. No, that was a fumble. That was my fat thumb. Sorry. So yeah, with fight games, and they're limited characters, right? So in Pokemon, we started with 150, 152, whatever it was. So you've got this depth. I mean, like, remember as a kid playing Pokemon, you're like, yeah, I'm going to catch them all. You couldn't do that in Street Fighter. What are you going to catch? 18 different people? Done? No. So in our game, what we did is we expanded each fighter. So if Ryu was in our game, he'd come in 5 different rarities, as does every fighter. Common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary. And what that means is our common version will have all his moves and the basic skin. The uncommon will have all those moves, a different skin, and 1 unique move to uncommon. And so on and so forth, all the way up to legendary, which comes with the 4 unique moves, the uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, plus the base set, and obviously a legendary skin. And so what we've created is for players who've collected 3 commons to sacrifice them for an uncommon. 3 uncommons for a rare, 3 rares for an epic, 3 epics for a legendary. So that puts a bit of a burn mechanic on the lower end of the NFTs. So if a market gets saturated with too many common types, it's not going to, because they're going to be burnt and upgraded to the higher rarities, which creates another progression plan and depth. But it also allows people to collect, right? Maybe you collect 1 of each. Maybe you want to collect a common, uncommon, epic, rare, and legendary, so you've got the full Ross set or the full Nyx set or whatever set we've created. So every time when we create 8 fighters, we've actually got 40 to be collected if you're collecting, and a gamified mechanic to reduce that.
And absolutely, and even if you're collecting all those, we also have free to play. So if you have a whole bunch of fighter NFTs and you can't possibly play with them all, you can always put those up for a roster of free fighters that people can come on and play and earn for free and split the profits. So that's definitely part of our roadmap as well.
Okay, cool. And I wanted to also ask you guys about, the PvP, player versus player. Like, do y'all have like levels for like matchmaking, or a guy who has a legendary moves can like outperform a guy who has a common NFT or something? Like, have matchmaking things particularly to even out the battles and the fights.
Yeah, there'll be an Elo ranking system, kind of like with chess. So yeah, everyone in the PvP will be ranked off against each other, and it's sort of, I think it's going to be sort of staggered. So I think it would go like a hierarchy. So player rank first, fighter rank second. So if I drop in, I'm going to be playing someone within the realms of my ranking, and then it will decide. If I've got a legendary level 100 and they've got a level 1 common, ideally it will put me in with someone with a higher one of them than not. But the gap there is not going to be so significant that it's ridiculous, right? The skill will still be the predominant factor. If you are reasonably better than me, like if there's a gap between you and me, and I've got a legendary and you've got a common, mine's leveled up, yours not, it's going to be a close match. I'm not going to be able to just smash you because I'm too buffed. If you are better than me, it needs to be noticeable, but not game changing, because the number one factor always has to be skill. So you'll get an aid to your skill. If people are much closer together, then you're going to have an advantage if you've got a legendary. You're going to have an advantage if you're leveled up, especially in single player modes. But predominantly, it's got to be the skill factor as number one. So that's part of the fine tuning on the balancing. But yeah, look, it's always ranked. You don't want people who are great just smashing all the noobs, right? That's not how, that doesn't work. Other than open tournaments. So you have to have a space for that where everyone can play and experience that. But in the general queue for PvP, the general play to earn grind, no, it'll be ranked.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So how will the players be rewarded as far as prizes with wins and things like this in an earning aspect?
So primarily, we have a primary currency called Fightcoin, the premium currency in the game. Looking to integrate the secondary currency. That's something we haven't done yet. That's something that will be done over the next sort of 3 months. Working with a data scientist and an economist, like a crypto economist, a tokenomics master, basically, working with those two people to help us do prediction models for basically because of scale. Obviously, when these games scale rapidly, that's when a lot of the economy dies. Like Fate and Arena tanked, and like so many games have problems with scaling. So we're bringing in people to do prediction models, and then once we start, we're going to do a sandbox mode for a couple months. Over the first half of this year, we're going to do sandbox it, we're going to test those models, and then we're going to go run with it. And have those guys working with us to help monitor the progress of scaling and its effects on the economy. But essentially, there'll be the premium reward of fight, which is obviously scarce and more sparsely rewarded, and rewarded at a ratio upon what it's spent into the game. So fight coin will still be, it'll have deflationary measures put on it, because we won't release as much of it as is spent. It'll go into a treasury first, and then a ratio from that will be released as rewards. Then there would be a more common currency, which is designed to have a more steady economic value, and that is more frequently given out. So that would be like the Phaeton coin that tanked, except we don't want it to tank. So basically, it has to have a bunch of essential in-game mechanics to help it get burnt and spent and give it constant value. And that's got to be managed right. That secondary is actually the trickier part, because it's easy to give out a premium currency and you just give it out at 0.9 or 90% of what you take in, right? And then you've always got that treasury build up or the vault building up, a locked vault, and a deflationary measure. But that common one, a bit trickier to balance. So yeah, we'll be building that over the next 3 months with our community again. So it'll in some ways be an open sourced development of that economy, because we'll have the lead roles building it and doing projection models, but we're not going to be secretive about what we're building. We'll be engaging the community and then testing it with them. And our community is going to be full of, every third or fourth person's a developer. So I think we'll get a lot of assistance with shaping the best possible economy we can make.
Definitely, man. Y'all got y'all ducks in a row for sure. We appreciate you guys for being here also, man. We're winding down. We got a few minutes left. I want to get straight to these other questions. Yeah, man, thanks for being here. Stone, you got anything you want to ask William? I know I've been throwing them a lot of questions right now, bro.
Honestly, you've been throwing them at him. I've been just trying to take it in. It's a lot of information, but it sounds exciting. I like Street Fighter games too, so
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I should actually drop one more bit of info. We have decided very recently, we're not really announcing it. I'll announce it to you guys. We decided recently to do a free 10K PFP drop of a companion. So we're going to release a companion as part of this game. It's a character that takes you through our game. It's how you interact. It's how you go to the fights. It's how you travel the multiverse to get in these fights. It's the little robot dude that stores your NFTs, your fighters, your trainers, your info, your data. He's your friend through this fight world that we've created, right? So your player identity is going to be you, as opposed to your player identity being a fighter or a trainer. Well, it's you. You've got a companion and you own the fighters and the trainers. That's how we weaved it together. So we're going to do a 10K PFP drop of the little companion fight bot, and we're going to make it free. And we'd love to sort of capture the real NFT market, right? Like that's what that drop's for. It's to capture 10,000 Ethereum NFT Twitter guys and girls and everything in between. So we'll share that with you guys as soon as it comes out, which is going to be very, very, very soon. It's going to be very exciting. I think that's going to get a lot of attraction and do a lot of community building for us over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Thanks for dropping that gem here with us and sharing that, that knowledge that nobody else knows about. If y'all hear that, guys, make sure y'all join Street Legends Discord, man, and stay in tune with them and in touch with them and everything they're dropping, man. They're doing stuff special.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, let's talk about the leasing of the NFTs, man. Before you guys go, how will that work? The leasing of the NFTs, the lending out.
That's pretty exciting. So starting with fighters, which is the one that we've locked away as definite. Everything else just flows on from that. But if you own fighters in our world, you can, from within your gym and with 2 clicks, put your fighter out for hire. So he will then go into a queue or a list, and then free-to-play players can come along into the game, sign up, and then just go to that list and select a fighter and start using them. Then the revenue will be split between the owner and the fighter. We're probably going to make it so that the owner can set their required revenue, which basically creates a market where people are vying for the best value. So, if I've got a higher ranked fighter, I might get more of a percentage as an owner from players willing to hire that fighter. If I've got a lower ranked, I might want to give away a higher percentage of the revenue to players playing as that fighter. But essentially, that makes it like a 2-click system to decentralize the scholarship model. You just come along and borrow a fighter or come along and hire out your fighter. You don't ever need to talk to anyone. It's all automatic, which is very exciting. That's a very cool and inclusive and sort of streamlined thing. But it doesn't do away with scholars and guilds, right? We have a faction model where guilds can brand themselves in the game, and there'll be a reward and tournaments for guilds or factions within our game. So there's still the benefit for the social and the organizational aspect of guilds. It's just that the mechanic in the game makes it super easy to just do for people either in guilds bringing their community or people outside of guilds who are, you know, isolated and just want to be able to either hire and play for free or buy and just put their fighters out for hire without ever talking to anyone.
Dope, man. Dope, man. Make sure you keep Crypto Champions Guild.
Dude, you guys are looking like you're probably one of the first guilds that are coming into the game to be branded, I think. We'll be talking quite a lot more to you about that and present you the how that functions, how we're planning it, and we'll get your feedback and input on the creation of that, right? I think it's good to do it with an open book. It's good to find out how guilds can benefit. And like you guys and a lot of other, I think that's where we met, was in a conversation about the ethics of guilds and the impact of guilds and how to manage guilds and the responsibility of game developers and guilds in working together to make sure we all can coexist without damaging economies and games and blah, blah, blah. So, man, we're all about open dialogue with great people like yourself, like help us shape the best possible environment we can for everybody. It'd be really cool. Great to see Crypto Champions in the game, fighting off against Unix and everyone else, and, you know, Loot GG, and man, that'd be cool.
No, definitely, man. We're gonna definitely stay in touch, man. I'm in your Discord, so definitely gonna be communicating with you and staying in touch, man. I'm definitely really interested in Fight Legends and what y'all got building, bro.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yes, sir. Happy y'all to be here.
Thanks, guys.
Got anything else you want to ask, man, before we wrap it up? We appreciate everybody being here, tuned in today on Champion Radio. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys.
All right, later, William. Later,
Thank you, Stone.
y'all have a good night.
Thank you, legend.